The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
At that time, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a Canaanite woman of that district came and called out, "Have pity on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But Jesus did not say a word in answer to her. Jesus' disciples came and asked him, "Send her away, for she keeps calling out after us." He said in reply, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But the woman came and did Jesus homage, saying, "Lord, help me." He said in reply, "It is not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Please, Lord, for even the dogs eat the scraps that have fallen from the table of their masters." Then Jesus said to her in reply, "O woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And the woman's daughter was healed from that hour. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Such an interesting gospel, that the way our Lord interacts with this woman. And first of all, she's a Canaanite, meaning she's not an Israelite. She's not one of the chosen nation, the Israelite nation. And so that's significant, and I think this, our Lord's description of it is not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs. I think that kind of portrays that whole reality, and it's a wild phrase that Jesus has used there, but it gets the point across. But she doesn't quit. She doesn't give up, and in her persistence, her prayer is answered. So anyway, it's a profound gospel just in and of itself, but I think if we take it in light of like last week's gospel, it can shed some light on it for us today. So here at the end of the gospel, Jesus says to her, "O woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." Right? So we got that today. Amazing. Okay, contrast that with last week's gospel where Peter sees Jesus walking on the water. "Hey, Lord, if it's you, command me to come out on the water." He does, and then he starts to sink out of fear. And what's the Lord say to him? "O you of little faith." Right? So Peter, you of little faith. All right, this woman today, you have great faith. It's okay, interesting. What's there to be gleaned there? And I'd say kind of in light of that, we could think back to, what we talked about last week is that, prayer is that how we keep our eyes focused on Jesus, listening to his voice. And in doing so, we can walk on water, essentially, right? So prayer is what keeps us in following Christ, in the voice of Christ, that keeps us walking on the waters of life, you might say. All right, so translate that today. "Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done to you according to your wish." Right? It's her prayer that is beckoning Jesus, that's persistent enough to get the answer that she's looking for. And she doesn't give up. And you might just say, Peter quit last time. He quit praying. He quit listening to the voice of God in his heart, and he started to sing. Our woman today does not quit. She persists. And I think that would be maybe the call for us is to not get discouraged in prayer. She had every right to get discouraged in prayer. For one, she's not even Catholic, right? She's not even one of the chosen few, so she didn't even have a right to Jesus in a sense. But Jesus come for us all. All right, but, first of all, Jesus blows her off, doesn't even listen to her. All right, that could be discouraging. Hey, no one's even listening. But she doesn't. She doesn't get discouraged. She keeps going. Then she could get discouraged at the peanut gallery, throwing discouraging at her when the guys say, "Hey, Lord, send her away." She keeps calling after us, "Send her away." That doesn't stop her. She persists. She perseveres in prayer, and she keeps hammering on the Lord. And in doing so, Jesus commends her and answers her prayer, right? That persistence in prayer pays off. And I think, we see examples of this a lot. I think of next Sunday is the Feast of St. Monica. So St. Monica, prayed for her son, Augustine, forever. And eventually, the Lord answered her prayers in a particular way. and Augustine, one of the greatest theologians the church has seen. All right, another example is someone who persevered in prayer, especially after prayer towards someone else, prayer of petition. I guess that's the example of us, in that faith that the Lord can and will answer our prayers if we persist according to his will, to not give up. Jesus himself said, whatever you ask the Father in my name, I will give you. Thinking back 2 years ago, we was in a drought, right? And we've started praying for rain, and it's been raining ever since. Sometimes we pray, wish it stopped, right? So prayer pays off if we persist. All right, so those are encouraging examples of answered prayer, to then not give up in our own need today, to persevere in prayer like the woman in today's gospel, to be of great faith and not of little faith, like St. Peter was last Sunday. He'd come around eventually. So can we. We want to have that great faith in prayer that persists, that perseveres, trusting that God will answer our prayers in due time and according to his will.